What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back out in the garage getting ready for the upcoming Redwood Empire Bass Club monthly tournament. This month for February, we are on Clearlake. This coming Saturday, which is actually tomorrow. I actually got most of my stuff ready earlier this week, and I did a video then, but I decided to change a bunch of stuff up and reshoot the video. So here we are today. Kind of go through some of the baits. Because I'm just kind of touching up some of my baits and redoing stuff. Don't have everything cracked open today, so not sipping on any suds while I'm finalizing things. But just kind of go through some of the baits. Some of the stuff I got tied on from last month's tournament at Lake Sonoma, where me and my partner Mike finished in 5th place out of 16. So good showing there. And then a bunch of a bunch of different things. Of course, for Clearlake, it's always going to be different. Weather has been pretty rough this past week. We've had a lot of rain. I think they had over 4 inches of rain up at Clearlake. The lake's come up over a foot. I think it's somewhere around 7.5 Rumsey or more. The rain's kind of passed after yesterday, and today we saw some sun, clearing skies, but it's cold. And so our forecast for tomorrow morning, the low in the morning is like 29 degrees. So it's going to be pretty chilly in the morning. Hopefully the camera will work with those cold temperatures. And should be sunny otherwise all day, although it's not going to get over 60 degrees. I think in the mid to upper 50s at best. So trick is to stay warm and just get out there, have some fun. Sounds like, from what I heard, the upper part of the lake is pretty dirty from all the incoming water. So I'm not really sure where I'm going to start yet. I got a couple ideas. I'll talk with my partner Paul on the trip up in the morning and see where we want to start, and then kind of go from there. But I kind of go through some of the baits that I've got rigged up. No particular order with what I have here. Just kind of going with what I know and from past experience this time of year. February can be a really good month on Clearlake, and some big weights, some big fish coming in. It seems like a lot of fish being caught recently are good quality, so hopefully we can get into a few of those tomorrow. So looking forward to that tournament. So let me just jump into a couple baits that I typically have rigged up, and you all seen these before. And this is the Yamamoto Sanshuo, one of my favorites. This is a watermelon red. It's got a little kind of a chartreuse on the belly side of that. Went to a 3/8 ounce Wu tungsten weight pegged on that. One of my favorite setups, and my furnace for the house just kicked in, so excuse the noise there in the background. Next one I have on, you probably saw this last month if you saw the video, is the Carolina rig with the Yamamoto Slinko, and really enjoyed throwing this last month. Like I said, I haven't thrown a Carolina rig in quite a few years. I thought this bait would float a little bit more than it does. I've only got a 4/0 EWG. It's a light wire hook on there, but this bait does kind of glide. You know, when you kind of pull it, and it just kind of glides in the water and kind of slowly sinks. I think that's what was enticing those fish up at Lake Sonoma, is just that really slow gliding motion as it kind of floated through the water. And that's, I guess, the best I can explain it, is that it just kind of floats, or kind of just glides through the water column down near the bottom. 3/4 ounce weight on there. And as far as the weight goes, show it right there. I got a bobber stop on the front with a little bead here. This is kind of a little bead that comes with the bobber stop, and that's to prevent the weight from sliding through the bobber stop. And then, of course, the bead on the back side to protect the knot. And then about a 2-foot leader on that, a little bit more than 2 foot or so. And that was working really well up at Sonoma. And like I said, I had just a lot of fun throwing it. A different technique, or a technique you haven't used in a long time, to kind of go back to the old school methods and try something and have success, was really exciting for me. So hopefully that works again tomorrow. Some reaction baits here, just a crankbait. This is an evergreen in the olive shad color, a little red on the belly, little square bill. Again, something that I can throw around the shallows if the fish come up. With the sun coming up in, tomorrow, maybe those fish will come up shallow in the late morning, afternoons, to sun themselves and warm up like we all want to do. Next one is a jerk bait. This is the Megabass Vision 110 plus one. See that one? Just a typical bait. Something will get a little deeper, I think, with the water as high as it is. This time of year, this will get down a little deeper and hopefully get some fish there. The jerkbait bite can be really good this time of year and into the spring. I really like throwing that. As the water does warm up, kind of into March and into April, the white jerkbait seem to work really well, and working them really fast. Right now, with the cold water, got to kind of slow down and just kind of smaller snaps, smaller jerks, and then let that bait sit and just kind of glide and hopefully catch them on there. Next one here is the typical, your standard LV 500 by Lucky Craft, with the Delta Craw color on that, or summer craw, whatever they call it. Again, something to bounce off the bottom, get in a rocky area, throw it out, let it sink down the bottom, and yo-yo it up and down there. And then this is kind of a what if. Got another spinning rod here with a shaky head. This is the Yamamoto Stretch 40 grub on a, I think that's a 1/4 ounce or a 3/16 ounce shaky head. This is kind of a what if. I'm not really planning on slowing down that much as far as fishing the bottom, other than like the Carolina rig or Texas rig. Go for those bigger fish. But I do have that rigged up, and I typically always have the shaky head tied on. It's kind of like my dedicated shaky head rod, which is a G Loomis, one of my few G Loomis rods. So this is a IMX Pro 760 or 783S. It's a medium heavy action, fast tip, but I like the backbone on that. Works really good for the shaky head. Another what if bait is swim bait. Got this kind of on a weedless hook. This is the Bottom Dweller. See that there, the Bottom Dweller baits. Kind of in the hitch color. Something I can throw out there, let it sink to the bottom. And idea with this is to get it down to the bottom and then just slowly reel that bait and just kind of drag the bottom and just let it move along about as slow as you can tolerate. So depending on the water depth, it is kind of a heavier beast hook on there to get that down there and just let it do its thing. A few more items here. Got the Alabama rig, and this is the Bass Slayer Baits sleigh rig. Got that paired up with some Kitex, kind of just a shad color with the brown, green pumpkin back. Bladed jigs. It'll be sunny tomorrow, so I may end up switching to another one I have rigged up without the blades, but the Bass Slayer Baits sleigh rig is always a good bait. In the springtime, I know we're not in spring yet, but kind of gonna go from winter as this month transitions. I think the A-rig bite will pick up on the lake. And let's see here. Now kind of getting to some of the other swim baits. This is a core tackle hook on there with a, I think it's the cast bait, and something to kind of like a scope shad or something. Just throw it out there, this will sink down and just kind of shake it. And this is kind of a bigger bait, being a 5-inch bait. And I also have another bait along the similar line, but downsized. This is just your standard old Zoom fluke, nothing fancy there. This color that I actually have tied on is electric shad. Yes, electric shad, just your Zoom fluke. See that there? You know, it's got a split tail, So again, nothing fancy on that. 1/8 ounce head on that, and those heads. This head is made by Little Foot Lures. Just a little swim bait head. Kind of pairs up pretty well with that. It's got a heavy duty hook on there, so definitely a nice stout hook for that. And then I got a couple different colors and some other soft baits as well for that technique. And then the last bait here is the Mr. B Underspin, Mr. B head with the Hazadong shad. It's one of my favorite swim baits. It's super soft. If you haven't tried these out, they're super soft. A lot of kicking action. Again, I can throw this around the docks along Tulu lines, stuff like that. Let it sink to the bottom, slow roll it, you name it. Kind of work it like a spinner bait. With the Mr. B head, it pairs up again really well with the Hazadong shad, and it's a bait that I have a lot of confidence in. I like putting those baits on the backs of spinner baits. And speaking of spinner baits, I do have one tied on. I got the good old Mr. B spinner bait. You've seen that once, you've seen it before. It's my favorite color, the blue shad, and it's got a little chartreuse on it. And so I got that tied on. And then I also have the Mr. B jig in the black and blue. That's a deep water structure jig with a Yamamoto flapping hog on the back of that. 3/4 ounce. Gonna kick up the mud, kick up the bottom, make some commotion on the bottom with that heavier hook or heavier bait. And so I got that tied on, and of course I got a whole box of Mr. B jigs to experiment with if I need to be throwing a jig. But sounds like at least the bite as it was before all this storm went through this past week was really more along the lines of the scope shad type baits. Again, this is kind of a bigger profile bait than some of the other ones. It does have a lot of kicking action on that tail, and a little different action with the core sinker, the weighted hook in there, as opposed to your typical swim bait head with an external weight. So again, different actions on those two baits just because of the way they're rigged up. And so it gives me some options there, along with the big swim bait to drag on the bottom. So I think pretty much I got my bases covered. I really don't want to be drop shotting. I mean, I can always tie one on if I need to, but it's not something I really want to be doing tomorrow. And I'd rather just stick with what I got rigged up here and try our luck and see. Hopefully it'll work out for us. Again, finding the fish, I heard there's a lot of bait up there, and so you got to find there's some big schools of bait in various areas. So it's just a matter of finding that on the graphs and on the live scope, and then targeting those fish underneath those schools of bait with some of these things I've shown you. So that's it for the lineup. Thanks for watching. Wish us well. Hope it works out for us. We got a really good turnout. I think there's 15 boats signed up for the tournament, so another really good turnout for everybody, and should be a good year. And I think Clearlake's going to be on fire in the coming months, and I think we got a full moon coming up this weekend as well, so that should help the bite along with the sunshine. But key thing again, stay warm. I got my gloves, got my headgear and everything, so it might be a little chilly running across the water at blast off. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the water. Take care.